Alright, so it's kind of nice out, so I thought I'd take this outside. Pardon the angle, it's the best I got. So we're going to continue factoring trinomials, but this time we're going to do it when only the constant is positive. So if you look back to the last video, you'll notice that both signs in the trinomial were positive. Well, in this case, we have only one positive, and the one in front is going to be negative. So it's going to be a little bit different, but not that much different. So I'll show you what we're going to do here. First step, always look for a GCF. There's nothing in common between x squared, negative 7, and positive 12, so we can't pull out a GCF. So instead, we're going to find what our A is, 1, our B, negative 7, and our C, positive 12. So now we multiply A times C as step 1. 1 times 12 is positive 12. Okay, so the second step is to find the factors of positive 12. Well, always start with 1 and 12 and write it twice. Divide 12 by 2 and we get 6, so that works. Divide 12 by 3 and we got 4, so that works. And then there are no more because the next number would be 4 and we already used it. So now because this is a positive 12, our couples are going to agree. So we're going to have a negative set and a positive set, negative set, positive set, negative set, positive set. So now the only thing that's different here from the previous video is that instead of looking for numbers that add to a positive number, this time we're looking for numbers that add to a negative number because our middle term was negative 7. So that means I'm not going to use any of the positive sets. And I can add here, negative 1 plus negative 12 is negative 13, that's no good. Negative 2 plus negative 6 is negative 8, that's not what I'm looking for. But negative 3 plus negative 4 is negative 7, and that's what I was looking for. So the ones that I'm going to use is negative 3 and negative 4. Okay, that was step 3. So step 4, we're going to make our box, our 2 by 2. And we're going to fill it in. So we always start with our highest exponent in our top left box, x squared there. Our constant, positive 12 on the bottom. And now we're going to fill in our x's with our new numbers that we found, the factors. So we have negative 3x and negative 4x. And it doesn't matter which one you put where, whatever works for you. Okay? So step 5, we're going to pull out the factors. The greatest common factor between an x squared and a negative 3 is going to be an x. And over here, the greatest common factor between negative 4 and positive 12 is going to be negative 4. Now, we had said in our steps, we have special cases where you have a negative in front. If you have a negative in front, like we do here to the front, you have to take out the negative. So we pull out negative 4. Okay, and then we look at our columns. We have x squared and negative 4x. Now this negative is not in front this time, so I don't have to pull out negative. I just take out x. And then my greatest common factor, negative 3x and 12, is going to be 3, but because the negative is in the front, we pull out a negative 3. And step 6, our last step, is where we take what we pulled out and we write them in a double bubble. That's the two factors. And that's it. Okay, so the only difference here was that we had a negative number in the middle, which made our factors here in our double bubble have negative signs. Okay, so that's one case. Sometimes you have both positives. In this case, we have a negative and then a positive. But what happens when we have the constant as a negative, as we do in these examples? Well, I'll show you. First, no GCF, so we don't have to do anything there. We have A is 1, B is negative 1, and C is negative 2. So now here's our difference. Our C this time is a negative number. We're still going to follow through our steps. Step 1, multiply 8 times C. So 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. Step 2, we're going to find the factors. 1 and 2, 1 and 2, and there are no more. So now here's what's different. When you're listing factors of a negative number, your pairs are no longer going to agree like they did up here. Instead, like negativity on a daily basis, it's going to bounce back and forth. So it'll be on the left side here and on the right side here. Okay, so that's the only difference. So now we're going to keep going. step 3, we're going to find the pair that adds to b, which is -1. If I add these two together, I get +1. If I add these two together, I get -1, and that's what I wanted. So I can continue as we did in the rest of them. Step 4, make our 2x2 box, fill in our highest exponent on the top left and our constant on the bottom right, and then we're going to fill in with our x. So we would have +1x and a -2x. And now we pull out our GCF for step 5, just like we've been doing. X comes out over here, nothing in common here, so I just pull out a 1. Over here I have x's in common, and over here this is a -2 in the front, so I have to pull out -2. Okay, and step 6, write what we got, x - 2 and x + 1. Now take note, our signs inside our factor are different. So anytime you have a constant that's negative at the end of your trinomial, you should know ahead of time that your signs inside your factors are going to be different. Okay? Up here, when we looked at these, when your last term is positive, that means the signs inside the factor are going to be the same. And the sign in front here will tell you what they're going to be. So for this one, because this is positive, I know that the signs of my factor are going to be the same. I look at this one, I should know that they're both going to be negative. Okay? On this one, because it's negative, I should know that my signs are going to be different. So I'm going to do one more of these with you, just so that I can get that bouncing back and forth across to you. So let's come over to number 3. First step, no GCF. There's nothing we can take out between 1x, -6, and -16. So we're going to go on to our a = 1, b = -6, and c = -16. Now, note this was already in standard form also, so we didn't have to do anything with that either. Okay, so step 1, a times c is going to give us -16. Step 2, now here's the part that's different. Find the factors of -16. I'm going to go through my usual way by taking the number itself in 1, then dividing the number by 2 and getting 8. Divide the number by 3, that won't give me an integer. So I move to 4. 4 times 4, make sure you write it twice, and then I know I'm done because I've already used 4. So now here's where it's different again. I have a negative number, so that means my negative has to bounce back and forth. Right? Because you're always going to want just one factor to be negative. Otherwise, they'll become positive, and we want a negative number. Okay, so now step 3, we find the pair that adds to the middle number. Which one of these is going to equal b, -6? Definitely not these. -2 + 8 is +6. -2 + -8 is -6. This is the one that I want. Step 4, we make our box. Fill it in with our highest exponent, x², our constant, -16, and we replace our diagonal with our two new factors, 2x and -8x. Okay, and now we're going to pull out the GCF of each. Over here, I have an x. 2 and 16 divided by 2 we can do. That's a positive. On this side, again, I'm taking out an x, and now I have a -8 in front, which means I have to pull out the -8. Okay, and that's step 5. Step 6, we're going to write the factors that we found, x - 8 and x + 2, and we are done. Okay, whoa, take it easy, Lynn. All right, so again, the constant or the last term is negative, so the signs inside of our factors are going to be different. Okay, and that's that. Thanks for hanging out with me in my backyard. Nothing much going on. I wonder what my neighbors are doing. Got a woodpecker somewhere over here. He was making a lot of noise before, but he's gone now. He's already eaten this tree. It's actually all rotted out on the inside. PSEG is supposed to come and take that down for me soon. As you can see, it's marked. Lucky me, it's hanging over the wire. Should save me a little bit of money. But, alright. See you guys soon, I hope.